Barloworld is a multinational corporation headquartered in South Africa and operating in 27 countries worldwide. They distribute leading international brands in rental, fleet management, project support and logistics solutions. Barloworld has a market cap of 17 billion rand, a price to earnings ratio of 13 and a dividend yield of 2.6%. And now we're talking about Clive Thompson and his team. Daniel, give it a crack.
So I think, okay, very different business. I mean, it is in the industrial space, but they basically focused on capital equipment distribution, mainly Caterpillar machines. They do have other parts of the business, but the main profit focus is their capital equipment. Now, if you thought that Imperial was cyclical, I can tell you now Paul's going to say not, because if you thought that Imperial was cyclical, capital equipment is much more cyclical. With Barloworld, they've got massive exposure to the mining cycle. They did have exposure to construction when construction was actually buying equipment, so that's sort of tailed off. They've got massive exposure to mining and to the global mining houses spending on capex. That's what it's about.
Do we need to even go any further with the discussion?
Well, look,
Are you giving it the thumbs down?
Caterpillar. Caterpillar's got, the world-leading large trucks, diggers, excavators, marine engines, power packs, diesel generators and so on. But remember, Barloworld is their agent in South Africa or southern sub-Saharan what. And then Spain,
you need a geography lesson, do you?
Portugal, and then Siberia. So you've got three of the sort of world's most sort of semi-exciting, semi-disastrous zones, which it could be good, could be bad.
Well, at least they've got the diversification. Some good, some not so good.
Yeah. So a couple of months ago, everybody was getting very excited about, the fact that there was this mining expansion and so on. And then, of course, it all fell off with the problems in our platinum sector. Then people were worried about the Chinese. Now I see they're not worried about the Chinese anymore. They're getting positive about that anymore. Spain, I don't know. I think Spain's fabulous. But then again, some others think it's going to take 100 years before Spain uses up all the houses. And then Russia, who knows what's going to happen next. Vladimir Putin there is capable of anything. So all of that together. They bought that Bucyrus business. Now they shunted that out. So I don't know. I mean, for me, it's a great old company with great legacy, but of course they pushed out PPC and all those other industrial assets.
And if it's cyclical, it means it will recover. Surely isn't that the nature of a cyclical company? We've had a downturn in the mining industry. Mining is not going to end. We are going to see a recovery in that space. Isn't this a good time to buy at 75 Rand?
Well, that's true. I mean, but you've got to look at what does the price tell you about how much of that cyclical recovery is priced in? It's all in the price, and that means it's all in expectations, and that means it's all in the probability of those expectations. With all the uncertainty that's surfaced now about global mining companies decreasing their capex spend, this increases uncertainty massively. So to 2014, 2012's earnings now to September are likely going to be decent. 2013 is anybody's guess. 2014 even more so. To price in that uncertainty, you have to make adjustments to the price that you're willing to pay for that. And in my opinion, at this level, that would be still a bit too high for that level of uncertainty.
Not even attractive at 75 Rand for you, Paul.
Well, that's the problem. I'm sensing I've got a kindred spirit here because I equally have no real idea what earnings could be because it could turn on a ticky depending on what happens with global resource demand and all of that.
But you think the world is going to sustain itself. It's not an all fall down scenario. I'm surprised that you're negative on this.
Yes, but I've learned through bitter experience that companies with very cyclical earnings are not good for ordinary shareholders. It's fine if you've got a multi-billion rand portfolio and you've got, some exposure here. But to try and call the cycle here is very tough.
Daniel, hot or not on Barloworld?
I'd say not.